Welcome back. Happy New Year. I'm Paula.
And I'm Brittany. And we are doing a new series, new year, new series. And this is now Makeup in Bridgerton.
Ooh.
So if you don't know, Bridgerton is this new series on Netflix, set in the Regency era, and it's all about this one particular woman's journey of coming out. And that was a whole thing back in that period of when you were of eligible marriageable age. Like that, you like that, don't you? You would go be presented, and then they would go to London for the season. And I know there are historians, but let me also let you know that in any series that we do both. We tell the story of the story badly, and we do our makeup badly. So that's just the whole point of the series. So if you're here and you love interesting interpretations of a series, we're so glad you're here.
I'm super excited about this new series. We have a new set of characters to follow, some to love, some to hate. But I just want to remind our subscribers to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Tell us what you think about the series down below. Also, very important, spoilers.
Episode 1, spoiler. If you have not seen it, Bridgerton is on Netflix. Just go watch episode 1 and then see how well we do.
Then you can comment then.
But absolutely. Or you can comment before. Because we like to use what we call native humor. Because native humor is something else. And just to let you guys know, this episode of the podcast, there we go, is... these are available for sale. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you want to sip your tea as you're watching the tea of this episode, go to BrittanySchulman.com/merch. You can purchase some native humor mugs. They're awesome.
They're awesome.
All
right. Something else. And do we still have a CODE?
Absolutely. The code is Queen. They're actually on sale now. The code is Queen Bee to get 20% off of your orders. So if you want a really cool native humor mug, use the code Queen Bee. So COD. You said that like there were children here.
So I've been hanging out with my niece and my best friend, and we have to do a lot. Our days of spelling stuff is dwindling, but I don't know. I was trying to give you a code for the code. Like, hey, do you have a code? I wasn't sure.
I just totally, you know what? I totally blanked and spaced on, on our merch, and this merch does help support the podcast. So if you like what you see, if you really enjoy it, if you want to see more of it, making this purchase helps us out, helps us grow and continue to provide the awesome content that we're providing. So,
yes.
I should show you that I'm starting with a shiny primer because I'm going to have a shiny look.
I need an umbrella.
I know. We're still getting used to this. So, Bridgerton, episode 1. I was about to go into it, and then I realized, let me pull back and start from the beginning. So, Bridgerton is actually based on a book. I've not read the book series, or the book. Is it a book or a series? Anyway, there is writing material that this is based on. It's also produced by Shonda Rhimes, who does a lot of really cool dramas: Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder, Grey's Anatomy. So, it is a very interesting departure from that sort of drama to this sort of drama, but still not really. And yeah, as I was starting to explain a little bit, this is set in the Regency area, and they were supposed to do, or at least they said they did, what's called blind casting. So for folks who don't know, that is, if you remember Cinderella from the 90s, the live action Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella with Brandy, they did blind casting for that. So you just the right person for the role. I'm not Hollywood. I don't know all the Hollywood things, but I do know that that's what that was attempted in Bridgerton, or at least what they said they tried to do in Bridgerton. We'll talk more about that later. So this is centered on, there is the narrator, who's Julie Andrews, is just cool, is Lady Whistledown, who has this gossip column, because these are all upper royalty kind of things. And they kind of, and it's set during the Regency period, which is I love this stuff. I'm a bit of an Anglophile, but I'm not really an Anglophile, so just bear with me. So it's set during King George and Queen Charlotte. If you're familiar with that particular period, that's like Civil War, or not Civil War. We just had that yesterday. That's the that was the Revolutionary War era. So that's the time frame that we're in, because Princess Queen Charlotte is Mad George's wife. And if you look at her picture, she has very full lips and a very full nose. It was rumored that she had some African heritage. So they kind of picked up on that and made Queen Charlotte just straight up a Black woman. She's beautiful. She's hilarious. She commands the room when she walks in. She's in it. I really enjoyed the actress who plays her. So when we get started, it is all the girls are going, and it's on two families in particular. One's the Bridgertons, that it's named for, and the other is the Featheringtons, who's their next door neighbors. They live across the street from each other. And so the daughters are going to be presented to the queen because they are now of marriageable. Jeez, Lord, help me. They're now of marriageable age, so they are old enough to be married, and they are all in London for the season. For people who don't know, hoity-toity folks in the UK and England would go to London for a period and hang out in there. And the season, which was very interesting, season's usually in winter. You go to London for winter, and then you go back to the country for the spring and the summer. So anyway, so they are in London for the season, and it's not winter at all. And
So this usually takes place during winter?
Yeah, when you're, yeah.
Huh. Yeah, so I don't know little tidbits like that. Cool.
Yeah, so anywho, they go to be presented to the queen. And the Bridgerton daughter, Daft, because they have all alphabetic names, which I thought was hilarious. She's the first daughter and the fourth child of Lady Bridgerton, who's a widow. That becomes important later. Spoilers. So anyway.
Spoilers.
So she goes to be presented to the queen, and the queen just like, you're flawless, baby, flawless. So she's the season's incomparable. So she's the one to look out for. She's the one that they think everyone's going to be swooning and falling over. And then next door, Lady Featherington has 3 daughters that she's brought in for the season. And of the 3 daughters, I forget their names, but the one I like is Prudence, and she's she's the heavier one, but she's really good friends with Eloise, daughter number 2 of the Bridgertons. They're all good friends because they live across the street from each other. It's just what you do. So anyway, and one of the daughters passes out in front of the queen because her mom pulled her corset too tight.
Because she had to be as small as an orange and a half, apparently.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't either. I was like, literally an orange and a half? Because that's pretty small.
I'm actually using Paracom MD. You can't see it. It's so shiny. You can't see it. But this is going to be the concealer. It's supposed to be like a healthy kind of something or other, Paracom MD, as far as makeup stuff. But it's called the No Makeup Concealer. Anywho. So, meanwhile, since the Bridgerton's father is dead, all the responsibility falls to the older son, Anthony. Anthony.
Oh, did I do that out loud?
No, because I didn't hear you.
Oh, okay.
Do it again. Anthony is in love. He's in love with a stripper. Well, she's not really a stripper, but she is an opera singer, which is really common for the time for uh artists, particularly artists who are women, to
Wait. She's an opera singer. How did you know that? Because I did not pick up on that, and I've watched it twice.
the episode. She's literally the singer on stage when they go to the opera.
Oh,
I mean,
I did not.
I get how you missed that because when we meet her initially, he's humping her on a tree outside. So it's easy to be distracted. And then when the next time we see her, he's humping her backstage in her dressing room.
Oh my god, I totally missed. I watched it twice and I totally missed that entire thing. Thought she was an opera singer. I thought it was because the way that they insinuate that she's in a whorehouse, you know what I mean? Or like a brothel.
Yeah.
And
No, that's kind of, if you were an entertainer, particularly a woman, that's kind of part
the
and parcel
vibe.
for the gig. And it was a
Okay.
way that they were able to supplement their income because they didn't, as in performers, you didn't get paid. It's not like today. You didn't get paid a whole lot. It was like you were living the life. So
Right.
you rely, this is like patrons. You had patrons who helped support the arts. And if you were a woman, this was some of the ways that you had patronage. So,
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
all right.
Totally
So,
missed that. Thank you.
no worries. I love this stuff. If it has an accent and costumes, I'm probably gonna watch it. So, anywho, he's in love. He's in love with her, and he's keeping her. So she has an apartment because he pays for it. Her place that she lives currently, he pays for it, and that's part of the also part of the gig. But I think they genuinely, at least it's portrayed that she and he genuinely care for each other.
Right.
So they start doing all the balls. Well, in the time in between time, the first ball of the season is at Lady Danbury's, and Lady Danbury has it's a nephew of sorts. She's actually, you find this later, but it's not going to spoil anything, so I'm going to share it now. And it's alluded to in this episode, so I'm going to share it now. She helped raise the Duke. Hello, Duke.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was waiting and I was skeptical, and I'm gonna share but the Duke just, I'll stay to see where he goes.
So she helped raise the Duke, and he's coming home. He's coming to London because his father has just passed, and he's just getting his affairs in order because he's just jumping ship, and he's a Duke, and he ain't got no other obligations but to be a Duke. So he's just living his life, living the life fantastic. I think I'm going to embrace the pink, embrace my inner Anna with this Frozen palette. Anyway, so they have this.
I'm also using ColourPop, the little Baby Yoda palette.
ColourPop at us. I mean, we're always using your stuff. So, oh my, maybe don't add us till you see this look.
Maybe wait to see what this turns out to look like. I'm also using Ah-Shi Beauty because I'm gonna do like a black.
I am too. So, Lady Danbury says, "No, you're coming to my ball since you're here. Don't try to get out of it." So the Duke, so we get to the ball. Oh, I forgot. In the meantime, in between time, Lord Featherington has pretty much adopted a distant relative who is from the country, and she needs a sponsor so that she can have a coming out in London as well, because she's a much poorer but still relatively wealthy relative.
Oh, her salary is only 4 figures.
Yeah, which, do the math, 4 figures in the 1700s. Hello.
I know, that's what I was just saying that. That's it. Oh.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing this a lot, guys.
I think the show calls for that.
Right? I'm gonna be like,
So anywho, she and she's beautiful. She's a really beautiful girl. And so that's the relative. So they go to the ball. And the brother's like, look, I'm here. He's always going back and forth. And his mama calls him on it. She's like, you want to talk about responsibility? You're not being responsible to your sister, because he has, as the head of the house, as the man of the house, is responsible for making sure that his sister makes a good match. Literally, that's all they're raised to do at this point. They're raised to make a good match.
yeah.
That's it. That's all their responsibility is as a girl, as a woman during that period. That's literally all your responsibilities were, is to marry well. And it was part of, making sure that your family stayed in the family and all that stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so they go to the first ball. Marina, everyone loves Marina because she's new, she's beautiful, she's fun, she's really cool. She's a really cool chick. And
She's got
the
some
brother
color.
takes
She's got some color.
well, again, we're going to talk about that a little later, about all the actor choices or whatnot. But yeah, and the brother takes her from the ball early, most because he wants to get back to his woman, but we won't talk about that. And yeah, so he takes her from the ball early. He's like, leave them wanting more. And everyone who comes up to her, he's like, you're not cool. You're not cool. You're not cool. But she bumps into someone, because there is one guy who's like, oh, I want to make you my wife. And he's such a weird cat. He's just grimy looking.
Yeah.
The guy who's like, oh, okay. I want her. And he's so grimy looking. So anyway, and grimy look, and I don't mean that as in his physical looks. I just mean that in his overall demeanor. You know what I mean?
He's very sus.
I don't know it. Sus. I do know what that is. Look at me keeping up to date on the lingo. So anyway, she, in her attempt to run away from him, she bumps into the dude. She's like trying to make talk with him. You ever been to the club and there's this weird guy who's with you, and I don't know what it's just the patriarchy, but when you're at at least when I used to go to clubs, when you're at the club and they're kind of like creepers, you end up finding another. You tell them, "Oh no, I've got a boyfriend," because they respect a boyfriend they respect a man's no versus your no. It's like,
right.
Thank you. No, they keep right on, keep right on. So anyway, she bumps into the Duke, and she's like, "Who are you? Talk to me. Save me from this creeper." And he's like, "Oh, you just want me because I'm a Duke, and everybody's mama wants me because I'm single." And she's like, "No, dude, I don't care who you are." And it turns out him and her brother went to school together, and they were really good friends. And she like totally eye rolls at him. And when and then he figures out that she really didn't know who he was, and she thinks that he's just a lazy loafer dude. Anyway, this is the first 15 minutes.
You hang out with my brother, so I know who you are.
Yeah, I mean, we all have that. This is my Ah-Shi Beauty. So anyway, so they leave. The mom calls the brother on his neglect of his sister. He ends up dumping his omen at the end, by the end of the episode. The thing is, and this is again what you have to remember is this: he literally is kicking her out of the home that he is providing for her because he's trying to be a responsible human being. And in the meantime, in between time, so they go through this whole montage of suitors, but they're all going to Miss Marina, including it's Colin Bridgerton. All the Bridgerton boys look the same to me. Every last one of them. It took me 3 times watching it to kind of decipher a little bit. So it was really good casting, or they just all look the same.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah,
I was
so
confused. Oop.
so you have that storyline happening. You have Eloise you have the Eloise storyline happening, who she is really not impressed with this whole idea that she has to get married. Her and Penelope from Featherington
I like
are
Penelope.
Penelope's awesome. Yeah, so they're really good. They keep talking with one another about what they really want to do. Penelope even tries to get out of being in. She's like, I can wait till next year, and her mom's like, nah, you're doing it now. So you have that happening. Brother breaks up with his opera singer, banger, pew pew pew. And in his attempt to be more responsible, decides for his sister that she has a suitor, which is Creeper. Gosh, it's Bedford. I forget his name. But
Butterface. Oh, sorry.
anyway, but Creeper goes to the brother and says, "Brother, I want to marry your sister." The brother says, "You're a perfectly fine guy. You'll do." And she's like, "I don't want to marry him." And she ends up, so this is another ball. She ends up in the garden. She's by herself and he follows her. And it's really, really bad for a woman, and this particularly if she's of bull age, to be alone with a man without any chaperones. And he starts to make an advance towards her. And the Duke also happens to be out there.
Unwanted advances.
Oh, yeah. And you could tell the way he's talking. He's like, "I'll show you." And the Duke thinks, "Oh my gosh, this guy's doing something horrible." And as he's coming around, punches and literally knocks him out. And so they concoct a plan, the two of them, because at this point he's already been over to their house for dinner. Lady Danbury and her mama are trying to hook up, and they're like, "I don't like you. I don't like you. Good. I'm glad we agree." So they concoct a plan because she's not getting the suitors and she's desirable enough to have suitors. They're going to make her more desirable by him acting like he wants to be with her.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to get married. So he, for her to act like she's with him will keep all the moms away. So that's their plan. They go back to the party and they start dancing, and everyone's like, Lady Danbury and her mom are like, "Ooh, I think we did it. I think we made a match." And the Creeper guy's like, "Crap, he wants her? Dang." And then all the other men are like, "Well, if the Duke wants her, then we must want her too." And the brother is wait, that may be episode 2. I'll pull that back. So by the end of the episode, they're dancing and having a good old time. The brothers broke up with his opera singer lover, and we're going to learn a little bit more. And I almost forgot. Miss Marina Thompson has a secret.
Oh, yes. I forgot all about that. Dun, dun, dun.
By the end of the episode, been there for over a month, and women, at least once a month, you have something happen if you're regular.
Right.
She ain't had no period, so she knocked up. And so that's her secret. And Lady Featherington says, "Oh, now I got a reason to get rid of you because you're taking away from my daughter's suitors, or my daughter's potential possibility suitors, because you're so cute." And Marina's like, "I didn't want to be here to start with.
I want to be with baby daddy."
Why do you think they sent me here? I didn't do this." And so there's that situation. So I think did I cover all of the situations?
I think so.
And
I'm
if
trying
not,
to
we'll
think.
cover them later.
Oh, and we did not promise that this was gonna be good.
It's never good. It is what it is. It's never
No,
good.
it's never good. It's always great. Just kidding.
So anyway, um, so Paula, first impressions. Tell me what.
Okay. So let's just say that we went from Star Wars to this, and I love costumes, and I love, I do love me a good show. And we were discussing, we're just going to go behind the scenes for a little bit. We were discussing what we should do next, because I enjoy these segments and I enjoy our little our discussion and our makeup doing, right? So, we were discussing what's going to be next. We knew we weren't going to stop doing this part or this, and we were looking for new shows. So she's like Bridgerton, and I had already seen it on Netflix. So I already had seen it. I was looking at it. I was like, maybe whatever, but I got distracted by Korean horror. And so then she says, okay, well, check it out, watch one episode. And then she said Shonda Rhimes. I am a big fangirl of Shonda Rhimes. I love her. She is one of my favorite producers. Is she a director?
She does do directing, but she's mostly known for producing these really cool shows.
And so I was like, okay, sold. And then when I was watching the first episode, I saw that Julie Andrews was narrating, and I'm like, okay, sold, right? And then I'm like, okay, watching it. And I understand that this is a piece about what the patriarchy looked back then. First of all, I would not survive. I'd be like, that's why I love Penelope. Is it Penelope so much? Because she's like, I want an education. I don't want to get married. Like, and she reads books, and that's who I am.
Oh, my favorite line is she's sitting there reading. Her mom says, "Don't read. You'll confuse your thoughts." What does that even mean? But go ahead.
Well, exactly. And I'm like, okay. And she puts her book down, but she's so captivated by all the drama that's going on, not even worried about her own suitors or who she's gonna marry. But she's like she's just so into other people's drama. It's hilarious. And you know what this reminds me of? I don't know if we have any Gossip Girl fans, but it really reminds me of a period piece, but Gossip Girl. Because
kind of what it is.
Huh?
It is kind of what it is.
Right. And so I'm like, I was kind of like, I was laughing because that is exactly what it reminds me of. And I was like, oh, this is Gossip Girl. And then let's see what else went through my mind. Patriarchy. It is a piece of its time, you know what I mean? Like, they have to follow this. I do like they kind of they did that whole casting situation, because they kind of diverged from an all-white cast, and so that kind of, I'm trying to think of what has made me stay, and now I'm vested, right? Because when we first went into this, I was so like,
you didn't want to watch it. She was like, this is not gonna be cool. This is not gonna be interesting. It's gonna be like The Crown. It's gonna be one of those it's gonna be one of those historical things that make no sense. Yeah.
Right. I definitely was that.
Those are all the things she legit said to me.
I did. I couldn't get it. I was like, I couldn't watch The Crown or Downton Abbey. I don't know if I will be able to get into this. And I'm sorry. It's just who I am.
I mean, different people like different things, and that is completely 100% okay.
But I love costumes, and I love bright colors. And you know what? Okay, so I'll tell you 3 things that made me stay. Well, 4. Okay, because I saw Julie Andrews today. Julie Andrews, Shonda Rhimes, Dookie,
Don't call him that. Don't say
Oh,
Dookie.
I didn't
Don't
even
say
think about
Dookie.
that. Mr. Duke and what was I gonna say? Oh, you threw me off because I can't call him my little Dookie, but I just realized what that was in reference to. Um, what's my fourth one? The music.
They use modern music just string quartet style.
It's amazing. I love it. And you're listening to the background music and then you hear Ariana or you hear Maroon 5. And it's just great. I love it. And it's all string quartet and it's amazing. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, for me, I was watching because I do like to watch to our on YouTube, and maybe I'll get a list together and share it with you guys of who critique period pieces because you apparently you can get a whole PhD in just the music of of the Regent period. And so I was watching several folks on Bridgerton. They're like, it sucks, but it's fantasy, so meh. Since it's fantasy, it gets a pass because during that period they should be wearing bonnets. They should be the colors aren't right, the dresses aren't right, some of them the makeup's not right, which apparently is a whole nother conversation. I didn't I'm learning more and more. So anyway,
Is this a romance novel though?
I
Like
think
cheesy, over the top,
yeah, and it gets
romantic.
there. Oh girl.
Okay.
Oh
Oh,
girl. I
see,
mean, we've
now
already seen some good hunching.
he's finished. She finished it, and I am just getting it started. I mean, I'm not season 2. I keep saying that. I'm on episode 2, like halfway through it, but I rewatched the first episode just so I can form my opinion around it, because I feel like when at least for me, when I go through a pilot of a show or the first episode, it's really about arranging the characters in my head.
Right.
Right. And so I had to watch it through again. I mean, I'm gonna tell you one thing. I was not confused on who the Duke was because he's sexy. But I did
Girl, just wait.
but the sisters and what is the I'm sorry, what is the cousin's name?
You have the
Mar
Bridgertons and the Featheringtons,
no,
and then
the
Marina
Marina.
Thompson.
I have a feeling that I'm gonna love Marina. Maybe, I don't know. Um, but I'm baby stepping into this because like I said, I was skeptical. And I should know, I love Netflix series. Is it a Netflix? Yeah, it is, right?
It is a Netflix original. I'm gonna try to tone down these brows a bit.
Oh my gosh.
They are so starkly contrasted on camera that I'm feeling very what's the word? I feel like I'm in my I've got my drag queen look on and I'm not feeling it.
So
I feel very Ursula divine. I feel very divine.
that's
And
hilarious.
I'm not feeling that look.
No, no.
So
I don't mind if I usually end up looking like a queen when I leave my house, like a drag queen when I leave my house, but it's okay because that's what I was
oh,
going for.
okay. That's a look though. I mean, drag queens do some of the best makeup, so I'm not an insult. It's just not the look I'm going for. You know what I mean? But I'm there.
Hello,
You know
divine.
what? You know
Okay,
what? Why don't I? Let's just.
I'm
Oh
gonna
wait.
see. Oh,
I'm just gonna embrace it. Just embrace it. Embrace the look and add some glitter. If you're gonna do it, dog bite it. Just do it.
embrace the look and add some glitter. I like that. That should be 2021's slogan.
It should be.
So I'm gonna attempt to put on this.
Oh crap! I forgot. I have lashes. I still have lashes.
Oh no.
All right.
My
So
glue is all over the place.
Any other
What is the Duke's name? Is it just Duke Hastings or what's his first name?
Simon?
Oh, never mind. I'll keep calling
He's
him
the
Duke.
Duke of Hastings, but he was Lord. Oh, it began with a B. I want to say Bast. No, because Bastion or Bass. It was Bass something because his buddy calls him that. The oldest. What's his? Bridgerton calls him Bass. Ah, shoot. But that was his name before he took before he became the Duke.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm gonna have to slide this over a little bit and get a little closer.
So that's my first reaction to it. And this is coming from someone who like was very, very skeptical. I really enjoy it. It's not I think that's the charm of it is it's era specific, but not. You know what I mean? Like it's era specific, but they push the boundaries of that era. Um, and the fact, oh my god. Okay, so I just love all the
Mhm.
colors, and the pretty gowns, and that kind of stuff does suck me in for stuff. And with the crown, so I feel like I've not watched The Crown enough to even give you a synopsis or anything, and that's not what we're doing. But with The Crown and those, I think once I sit down and really concentrate, because I feel like what happens to me is when I'm watching a series, I float off somewhere else because I can't just sit down and watch stuff. Um, I get characters mixed up.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of characters in The Crown, but also it's the queen. It's Queen Elizabeth. It's not really. It's in period drama, but it's a really recent period. And if you're really into um the the royals, then I am gonna jack this up.
Oh, maybe I'll add a fifth reason. It's based off of a romance novel. I was like, ooh, that's gonna be interesting. I tried to put blush on, but I mean it's very the way that my color is right now because of the way my lights are is very washed out. It's very, very washed out.
Girl, I struggle with these so much. I get them on. Well, oh Lord. I get them on, but I don't get them on.
I'm looking at her over here because my camera's here, but I'm looking at her to see
Jack,
how goes it. Ooh, I like the
these are
glitter
called
though,
Shy, and they're from Sultry Anarchy. So
and I know Shy Shy. I love her.
I like that she named for people. Like they're inspired by.
Tony's her mom. Shy is a friend. Um,
Yeah, I love that she names them for people and they're inspired by people. So
I think Jocelyn's her sister.
I'm waiting for the Honeybee Marie to go with hopefully the new palette. If you're following, you better follow her on Instagram. It's that's me over here. Follow her on Instagram and you'll see like things are
So we have things in I have things with Chelsea in the works, Sultry Anarchy in the works. She just updated her website, but I mean, she teased the palette, but we are releasing a collaborative palette together.
let's talk about this Cupid's bow. Hello. I think I overlined on one side, but not the other.
Are you okay?
No, not at all.
But we are working together on a palette and it should be real. I mean, we're discussing the release date right now. But she teased it on my Instagram. So if you go to my Instagram, follow us, you will know exactly when that comes out and what it looks like when it does.
So, that's what I need.
I'm so
That's
glad I didn't
that's
get to
why.
use my beauty spatula today.
Okay. So, yes, I like there's been a lot of critiques also on not just the fact that it's a period piece that's not really about the period. I mean, they have some of the the clothes aren't really period. The music's not really period. Some of the things that they do aren't really period, but hair, makeup's not really period. Because if you were a woman in that time, none of your hair should be down. And they do a lot of that half up, half down, which is like fake old people stuff. Fake, not old people, fake period hairstyle. You just assume that that's how it's supposed to look. Anyway, so they've gotten a lot of flack for that. They've also gotten a lot of flack for the casting.
And why is that?
Because even it was supposed to be blind casting, and as we move through the series, there'll be some points. Right now, you're like, oh, okay, that's just the person's in for the role, and that's just who they are, and it doesn't. Right now, in episode 1, it's not as big a deal, but they made some very specific choices that people called out. Not to say that it wasn't good, and not to say that that these things don't need or deserve multi-ethnic, multiracial casts, especially since it's a fantasy. But at some point, they will move from that fantasy, bring it back to reality, but not really. So one of the criticisms is that it was just supposed to be blind casting, but then they made it about race, and that's a little bit further when they actually kind of bring it up. If they had just never said anything about it, we'd be in it for being in it. But because they make mention of it, and that's later in the episode, and we'll talk about it when that episode comes up. Some other criticism was that there's not a lot there's still not a lot of actors of color, but specifically there's not a lot of Asian actors of color, Latino actors, Latinx actors of color, Native actors of color. I don't know why I keep saying of color, because that's really not how you say it, but okay, it's fine.
Native actors of color.
Yeah, Latinx actors. So there is only Black actors, and it looks like it was done that way, particularly as you get to the next episode. So it's done that way for a reason.
Right.
So, it's a valid criticism. I will say it is a valid criticism, and you can like something and love something and still critique it. You know what I mean? Like, just because you have critiques of it doesn't mean that you don't like it or love it. It just means that, sometimes I have concerns.
And there are conversations to be had about our concerns, and that's where we come from.
And it's apt, and it's really well done, and it's really cool, and we need more things like this. So I'm actually really down for it, and I don't know where to put my earbuds now.
Well, I'm excited.
I put on my earrings, and I don't know where my earbuds go.
Native girl problems.
I know, right?
So I really do appreciate that the cast is a little more diverse than other period pieces. And I'm looking forward to continuing this series and watching the rest of it. Like, I'm like, once we record this, I'm jumping off and getting back to season 2. I mean, oh my goodness, episode 2. Episode.
I'm excited to keep talking about it, because again, this is, Mandalorian was something you loved and something I really liked, and now I think this is something I love and something you're starting to like.
I'm on board.
And we have our final looks.
Frozen. No, this is my final look. I did a smoky black. Very, yeah. Sometimes smoky eyes can come off really raccoonish, and I'm glad. I mean, I might look like a raccoon, but I look like a cute raccoon.
Yeah.
From where
this is my normal look. I'm trying, guys. I'm really trying to do things different, but I got one look, apparently. I've got one leg I can do makeup.
Really,
So,
I need some earrings.
I need to. Hey, guys, tell us below in the comments, who are some tutorials I need to watch so I can learn something new, some new eye looks. And with
You
that
guys
said,
can tell her, and I'll make her a list.
So thank you guys so much for joining us for this Makeup in Bridgerton episode 1. We hope to see you next week for episode 2 and hopefully a new look.
Yes. Happy New Year and bye.
Bye.
Bye.